Good afternoon. Welcome to RMU Live. Today is February 22nd, 2019. I'm Andrew Ostrowski.
And I'm Sonu Babu. Here's what's happening now.
A landslide has brought down trees and other debris at Freeport Road and Pittsburgh Street near Zaleski's aluminum factory. Allegheny County officials are asking drivers to avoid this area between Riddle Run Road and Industrial Boulevard, as the 2700 block of Freeport Road is closed. Another landslide has claimed a home in Pittsburgh's North Perry Road neighborhood. The home, located on Semisier Street, was completely destroyed. This is not the first time that this neighborhood has lost homes. Two houses on the same street were condemned before, one in February of 2018 and the other in January.
A man fled the country after raping a 15-year-old girl. He was brought back from Israel to the United States. Moshe Journo was charged with sexual assault and aggravated indecent assault for raping a girl in 2004. He was arrested by Israeli police on December of 2017. Journo appealed his extradition, but officers traveled to Israel and returned with Journo to Pittsburgh. And a loaded handgun was found on Wednesday at Pittsburgh International Airport. The man, who is from Venango County, had a .22 caliber gun in his carry-on bag. This was the fifth gun stopped at the checkpoint so far, according to the TSA.
A threat came from a teenager towards Keystone Oaks School District on Tuesday. The district's schools were closed due to the threat. This is the second time in a month the school district received these threats, the first coming from former student Matthew Dobos, who made threats multiple times in January. Dobos was arrested on Wednesday for his threats.
And a kindergarten student was found with a gun in their backpack on Monday afternoon at Pittsburgh Faison K-5. Another student told the driver of the school bus they were on, and the driver took the gun and gave it to staff members. Students will now have to go through the metal detector, which had previously only been used for adults. School police are investigating.
Pennsylvania may join the 16 states that are filing a lawsuit challenging President Trump's national emergency declaration, arguing the declaration violates the Constitution's separation of powers. CNN's Pamela Brown picks up the story.
Donald Trump's self-declared national emergency getting its first big challenge in court today. 16 states filing a lawsuit exactly as the president predicted.
We will have a national emergency, and we will then be sued, and they will sue us in the Ninth Circuit, even though it shouldn't be there, and we will possibly get a bad ruling, and then we'll get another bad ruling, and then we'll end up in the Supreme Court.
And the court that can hear the case, the Ninth Circuit, which often rules against the president on some of his most controversial policies.
I think I called it exactly, right? Including the fact that they would put them into the Ninth Circuit. That's where they put them in. And I think we'll do very well. We have absolute right to do that. I have an absolute right to call national security. We need strong borders.
California Attorney General Javier Becerra is taking the lead in the case, arguing Trump is circumventing Congress and illegally taking money allocated to states to fund the wall along the U.S.-Mexico border.
We're going to try to halt the president from violating the Constitution, the separation of powers, from stealing money from Americans and states that has been allocated by Congress lawfully.
New Mexico's Attorney General taking it one step further.
The president cannot act like a king.
And a new poll out today by NPR shows only 36% of registered voters approve of the president's national emergency declaration to build the wall, while 61% disapprove.
Attorney General Josh Sharpio said tens of millions of dollars could be given to the border funding instead of Pennsylvania. He threatened to take legal action if the state loses out on any money allocated by Congress.
Another band has been added to the list of appearances at RMU's new UPMC Event Center. The band is called Why Don't We and will be performing as a part of their 8 Letters tour on August 11th. Tickets will go on sale at 10 a.m. on February 23rd via Ticketmaster. And a man from Beaver Falls has been convicted and will serve between 6.5 to 20 years in prison. John Crawford was accused of abusing a 4-month-old baby that was admitted to UPMC Children's Hospital with a broken leg and brain bleeding on November 21st, 2017. The infant also had old injuries that were healing that were consistent with abuse, including an older bleed on the brain and fractured ribs.
6 new stores will be coming to the Pittsburgh International Airport within the next month. The operator of the Air Mall announced the upcoming additions on Monday. Some of the stores being added include a toy store, candy store, fragrance store, and even a store for socks. Wednesday brought bad weather to Moon Township, causing classes to cancel at Robert Morris University. Gage Golding talks to one man who didn't let that snow stop him.
Snow, slush, ice, and rain, you name it, Moon Township got it on Wednesday. That's what forced Robert Morris University officials to cancel morning and afternoon classes and officials in Moon Township to close University Boulevard.
I mean, this is a main road. Why wasn't it cleared?
The words of Chip Mann seem to be the consensus from all the people we talked to in Moon Township, except for one person. Meet Will O'Donnell, who took to the streets with his special bicycle that's outfitted with studded snow tires. The reason he's riding? Well, that's a simple answer.
I'm retired, and I've got a lot of time on my hands.
O'Donnell says this isn't the first time he's ridden in the snow, and he has a special route just for days like today.
I have a sort of a route for days like this.
Now, it wasn't all fun and games. The roads across the region were seriously dangerous. This tractor trailer jackknifed on University Boulevard while traveling uphill. The exact reason the AutoZone manager delayed sending out her delivery drivers.
And I had to hold up my deliveries for a couple hours because I wasn't sending my drivers out on the road.
O'Donnell says although he enjoys riding his bike, conditions were dangerous and urges drivers and bikers alike to be careful.
But it is really slick underneath the snow, and especially when you need to make a turn or something.
As you can see, some people still coming out choosing to try to traverse this difficult and sometimes dangerous terrain. Officials say if you don't need to leave, stay inside. If you absolutely must leave, allow extra time and be extra careful. Reporting in Moon Township on University Boulevard, Gage Golding, RMU Century Media.
The weather is drastically changed since Wednesday. Scott McDaniel has the weather today. Scott, what can we expect?
All right, well, Andrew, thankfully we don't have to deal with that treacherous terrain as Gage previously described. Actually, in fact, we are getting a break to that weather. As you can see, today's forecast is a high of 41 with a low of 31. Still going to be kind of cold. Might want to take your jacket out. Might need a lighter jacket. Humidity with a 76% and a precipitation chance of 0. Let's toss it back to the desk.
Coming up after the break, a certain sailor in a famous 20th century photograph passed away, and a potential witness to a crime has been found dead.
All this and more when we come back. Stay tuned.
I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home. That's when I met Nardice. She started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here.
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for them? Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Welcome back. 45 years ago, 11-year-old Linda O'Keefe was walking back home from school when she was abducted and brutally murdered. Her body was found strangled in a ditch, but now officers in Newport Beach, California, can finally give her justice. They have found and arrested the suspected murderer, 72-year-old James Allen Neal from Colorado was sentenced to life in prison without parole, and officers are considering the death penalty. Neal fled from California to Florida and changed his name after the incident. Officers used DNA from the girl's dress to identify him. Neal is charged with murder and kidnapping with the intent of lewd acts with a child.
The sailor in the iconic picture celebrating the end of World War II has sadly passed away on Sunday. The famous photograph taken by Alfred Eisenstadt portrays George Mendonça kissing nurse Greta Zimmer Friedman in Times Square on Victory in Japan Day. A statue that aims to commemorate an iconic moment in American history is clean again. Vandals spray painted graffiti on the Unconditional Surrender statue in Sarasota, Florida overnight Monday. The message read #MeToo, an apparent reference to the online movement encouraging victims of sexual misconduct to come forward. A company that cleans the statues responded to the scene and quickly removed the damage as soon as it saw local news report about the vandalism. The statue is a recreation of the famous photograph of a sailor kissing a woman wearing a nurse uniform in Times Square. It was taken in 1945 on VJ Day, the day Japan surrendered to the United States in World War II. The man in that photograph died Monday at 95 years old. There is no surveillance video of the area, and nobody saw who vandalized the statue.
And a 39-year-old man was pronounced dead at the scene after a very unfortunate subway accident in Grand Central Station Tuesday night. A man's clothing got caught on a train on 42nd Street. He got dragged into the train tracks, hitting an electric power box, and suffered from severe trauma. His identity has not yet been released, and the incident is still under investigation. And a Florida mother is grieving after authorities say they have found the remains of her missing teenage son. Jabez Spann was last seen in Sarasota on September 4th, 2017, 2 weeks before Hurricane Irma. He was just 14 years old. Lauren Verno spoke with his mother, who now wants justice.
Tawana Spann didn't know when or even if this day would ever come.
We thought we were prepared, but I guess that's not, I guess that's not something you can get prepared for.
In some ways, the family says there's closure.
We got some closure. We're going to put him to peace.
While at the same time, opening up a new chapter in this grieving family's life.
Whoever did whatever, that's what I want them arrested for. That moment that he couldn't call or he couldn't talk to anybody. And he knew at a point that it was over. I can deal with everything else. I think my family, we're strong enough to get through everything else, but just for that moment, that's what I want justice for.
Police previously said Spann may have witnessed a murder a week before he disappeared. Investigators say his remains were found in a rural part of Manatee County, somewhere they don't think he would have traveled on his own.
Cows can now find love with a new app called Tutter, similar to Tinder. Tutter is helping farmers find mates for their cows or bulls. This app helps gauge milk yield and protein count and has 42,000 users in the United Kingdom. When we come back, Senator Bernie Sanders announced his running for the 2020 presidential election.
And an intern has been killed at the North Carolina Zoo. Stay tuned for more.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
I was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfie.
Selfie nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's put a ride home.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back. A school bus hit a utility pole in Stamford, Connecticut Thursday, causing live wires to fall on the bus and trap everyone inside. The bus driver and 3 kids had to wait in the bus for about an hour until a crew could cut the power. One student had minor injuries. An assistant fire chief said the bus driver did the right thing by keeping the kids on the bus and advised people to do the same thing if something like this happens to them. Authorities say ice on the road likely caused the crash.
Police charged a New York man who they say intentionally smashed his car into a family of 8, killing the mother. Flowers sit in front of the 7-Eleven in Garnersville, where police say Jason Mendez attacked the family Wednesday. According to investigators, a mother and father were standing outside of the store when the father asked Mendez not to smoke near his children. Police say that that's when the 35-year-old got into his car and mowed down the family. 32-year-old Melissa Castillo was killed. Mendez stayed on the scene, then had an altercation with police. The injured father and his 6 children were taken to the hospital at last check. No word on their condition. The children, ages 10 and younger, and Mendez is facing second-degree murder charges and 7 counts of attempted murder.
Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders is planning to sign a pledge to run for the Democratic bid in the upcoming 2020 presidential election. Sanders announced he would run for the presidency earlier this week, but Democratic National Committee rules ask that nominees pledge they will run as a member of the Democratic Party.
New Yorkers may start seeing a lot more police body cam videos. A state appeals court ruled Tuesday the New York Police Department can release those videos publicly. Until now, body cam videos were only available by request under the Freedom of Information Act. The ruling is a defeat for the union that represents police, which argued that releasing body cam videos violates an officer's right to confidentiality. The court decided the videos are not personal records, and blocking the release defeats the purpose of wearing cameras in the first place. Advocates for publicly available body cam videos want to reduce police abuse like brutality and shooting unarmed citizens. Some criminal justice experts worry it may make officers more risk-averse. NYPD is by far the largest police force in the nation with 25,000 officers.
A man in Colorado is accused of beating his fiancée to death. Patrick Frazee will be the headliner in a murder trial of Kelsey Barrett after he killed her with a baseball bat. Frazee tried to persuade his girlfriend on the side to kill his fiancée multiple times before doing it himself.
And a lion attacked and killed an intern in a North Carolina zoo. 22-year-old Alex Black died after a gate blocked by a ball allowed the lion to close the gap between them and attack her, dragging her into the enclosure by the neck. She died from blood loss, and 2017 and 2018 USDA inspection did not reveal any problems with the zoo. The staff were retrained at the facility. Alex Black was a college graduate from Indiana, and she died instantly after being mauled.
Coming up, Russia's got a few things going on.
And the Catholic Church attempt to deal with its scandals. Stay tuned.
I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home. So when I met Narnese, she started helping me a little bit like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So,
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here.
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to team-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Welcome back. The Vatican says Pope Francis plans to raise the minimum age for girls to marry in the Roman Catholic Church from 14 to 16. The news comes as the Pope opens a summit at the Vatican on child sexual abuse by Catholic clergy. It's an issue that's damaged the Church for decades, and Pope Francis himself has been accused of inaction since assuming the papacy. The Vatican's leading sex crimes investigator did not say when the age will be changed in the Catholic Church canon law, but he says the minimum age for boys stands at 16, and some parishes and dioceses have already raised the ages for girls to 16. Pope Francis says the 4-day conference intends to teach church leaders on the seriousness of the sex abuse crisis and how to deal with it.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has a warning for the U.S. Install intermediate-range nuclear weapons in Europe, and he will target, quote, decision-making centers. Mr. Putin made the comments during his annual speech to Parliament. Putin said that it's not true that Russia poses a threat to the U.S. and that all of their actions were defensive and retaliatory in nature.
A series of deadly explosions kill 110 people in a crowded neighborhood in Dhaka, Bangladesh, after a car powered by natural gas with a cylinder in the back exploded. A series of cylinders burst into flames. A building and a store that illegally stored chemicals also caught on fire. The crowded country faces many tragic fires because of its unsafe structures and lack of regulation. Firefighters took a couple of hours to extinguish the flames in the busy Chowk Bazaar neighborhood on Thursday, which was completely destroyed after the incident. Although Dhaka has rules against storing illegal chemicals, they are often ignored, leading to many lives lost.
A 24-year-old woman who went to Syria and joined ISIS now says she wants to come home. Hoda Mutana wrote a letter saying when she left her Hoover, Alabama home 5 years ago, she was angry and arrogant. She has now been married 3 times and has an 18-month-old son. Mutana says watching 2 husbands die and witnessing the devastation of war changed her mind. She frequently called for violent terrorist acts in America on social media. She said she wishes she could take these posts back. Mutana claims she ran away from ISIS several weeks ago and is now living with her son in a camp for displaced people in the Kurdish area in northern Syria. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says Mutana is not a U.S. citizen and will not be allowed into the country. Her family is now suing the Trump administration to get her back in the U.S.
Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has ordered the closure of the border with Brazil to stop aid from coming in. The border closed Thursday night, causing Venezuelans to go to the Brazilian city to get supplies. The military has also blocked U.S. aid from coming in across Colombia. More than 3 million Venezuelans have fled the country in the past couple of years because of the shortage of food and medicine.
When we come back, Ryan Giacobbe will be telling us all about the RMU and Pittsburgh sports world.
And stay tuned for Scott's full weather forecast for the week.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad. That's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, will you have to pause there for
Probably hear that. Welcome back to RMU Live. I'm Ryan Giacobbe with a huge load of sports to tell you about. RMU men's hockey split their series last weekend against the Holy Cross Crusaders when they won 5-3 and lost 2-0. Eric Israel scored 2 RMU goals in the first game win. Men's hockey plays on the road tonight and tomorrow against the RIT Tigers. Both games start at 7:05 p.m. RMU women's hockey tied the Lindenwood Lions 2-2 in Game 1 and lost 6-1 in Game 2 last weekend. J.C. Gavhard, Amber Rennie, and Sarah LeCavier scored the team's 3 goals of the weekend. Women's hockey plays tonight at 7:05 p.m. and tomorrow at 3:05 p.m. from Colonials Arena to host the Mercyhurst University Lakers. RMU men's basketball broke a 3-game losing streak when they defeated the LIU Brooklyn Blackbirds last night 62-49. Maddie McConnell played for 34 minutes with 4 field goals, 2 3-pointers, 2 free throws, 5 rebounds, 12 points scored, with Kobe Thomas scoring a slam dunk. Men's basketball plays tomorrow afternoon at 5 p.m. when they host the St. Francis Brooklyn Terriers. Army women's basketball rebounded from a loss against Mount St. Mary's to win their game this past Monday against the St. Francis University Red Flash. Nina Augustin played for 36 minutes, threw 6 field goals, 6 3-pointers, 4 rebounds, and scored 18 points. Women's basketball will honor their seniors on the team before they host the St. Francis Brooklyn Terriers tomorrow at 1 p.m. from the North Athletic Complex. Army men's lacrosse lost against number 17 Georgetown University Hoyas last Saturday by a close 14-11 score. Attackman Ryan Smith scored 3 points and put up 1 assist in the loss. Men's lacrosse plays tomorrow at Joe Walton Stadium when they host the Bellarmine University Knights at 12 p.m. Army women's lacrosse won their home opener against the Canisius Golden Griffins in a thrilling fashion 11-10. Sophia Eureka won in overtime for RMU when she scored the winning goal, unassisted. Women's lacrosse plays again on Wednesday when they host the Liberty University Flames at 3 p.m. at Joe Walton Stadium. Now let's go over to Scott McDaniel for the weather. Scott?
All right. Thank you, Ryan. Well, looking at tomorrow's weather, it's going to be similar to today with a high of 46 with a low of 43. Definitely going to be very mild with a humidity of 81% and a precipitation of 50%. All right, now going on to the 5-day forecast. Sunday will be mixed conditions, cloudy with a little bit of rain with a high of 54 and a low of 22. Monday and Tuesday will be cloudy with a high of 33 for both days, a low of 20 for Monday and a low of 24 for Tuesday. Wednesday will be mixed precipitation with a high of 34 degrees and a low of 21. Thursday will be cloudy with a high of 35 and a low of 24. Thank you for joining us for this weather broadcast. I've been Scott McDaniel. Let's toss it back to the desk.
RMU Live today. We will see you next week.